أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على أشرف الخلق وعز المرسلين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيد الخلائق أجمعين أبي القاسم محمد صل على محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين سفن النجاة وعين الحياة من طهرهم الله بنص كتابه المبين وجعل اللعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we will continue this week speaking about the same topic, about ghusl. With ghusl, last or 2 weeks ago we spoke about why should we perform ghusl al-janaba. Just quickly, we say that the person, he becomes in a state of janaba in 2 ways. Number 1, through sexual intercourse. Ghusl al-janaba becomes wajib on him. Whether semen comes out or not, ghusl becomes wajib on him. The second way is through discharging the semen, when the semen comes out from the body, whether at night, let it be a wet dream, or during the day, intentionally or unintentionally. You have to perform ghusl al-janaba. That's the 2 ways ghusl al-janaba becomes wajib on you. Now, when it comes to performing this ghusl, there's 2 ways to perform it. There's 2 ways to perform ghusl al-janaba. The first way is called al-ghusl al-irtimasi, alaykum salam. And the second way is called al-ghusl al-tartibi. Last time we spoke about al-ghusl al-tartibi. Al-ghusl al-irtimasi is submerging all your body under the water. When you submerge all your body under the water and you perform the ghusl. Let's say, for example, you have a bath at home, or a swimming pool with pure water, or you're swimming at the sea, and you want to perform ghusl al-janaba. You can do ghusl al-irtimasi. How? You cover your body, your whole body will be under the water, and then you perform the niyyah of ghusl. Do you have to do your head and your neck, your right and your left? No, you don't have to do it when you perform ghusl al-irtimasi, because you can choose between doing ghusl al-irtimasi and between doing ghusl al-tartibi. Ghusl al-irtimasi is just when your whole body is under the water, you perform the niyyah of al-ghusl. Let's say half of your body is under the water, all right? And the second half is outside the water. Can you perform the niyyah? Can you do the intention? No. So the body should be from your toes to the top of your head, under the water, and then when it's under the water, you do the intention. You can't do the intention while you're going under the water. But can you do this ghusl al-irtimasi, can you do it under the shower? Why? Because the body is not covered by, or it's not under the water. It's covered by water, there's water on it. That's with ghusl al-tartibi, it should be under the water, not only just covered by water. That's the first kind of ghusl al-irtimasi. The second kind is what? Ghusl al-tartibi. Ghusl al-tartibi that we spoke about 2 weeks ago. All right. What did we say about ghusl al-tartibi? Anyone remembers? How to perform it? All right, yeah.
Start from the head, run to your neck.
Yes.
Wash your head and your neck, and then you go to the right right side, and then to the left, and that's it.
All right. How do you do it? Your face? You should know more than others because you did it last week. You start with your head, with your neck, and then your right side, and then your left side. غسل الترتيبي. But of course, there's certain conditions for this ghusl. First of all, we said we need to have what before we start the ghusl? The niyyah, the intention. You need to have the intention that we are doing this ghusl. What is this ghusl? This is ghusl al-janaba. We are doing it niyyat al-qurba lillah azza wa jal. So we need to have the niyyah. All right. Can I use mixed water to do ghusl? Like, can I get orange juice and do ghusl with it? Like you can drink after you do orange juice. But to perform ghusl, you need pure water. All right? Ma mutlaq. All right. And there's two differences between ghusl janaba and wudu. See how we spoke about wudu last time? There's two differences between ghusl janaba and the wudu. The first one is in wudu you need to start from top to bottom, right? That's what we said. You have to start from the top of your face to the bottom of your face, from the top of your hand to the bottom of your hand, and so on. In wudu. In ghusl you don't have to start from top to bottom. Okay? So even if you're doing ghusl to your right side, you don't have to start from top to bottom. You can start from bottom to top. It's not a problem. In ghusl. That's the first difference between wudu and ghusl. The second difference is that in ghusl, in wudu, you shouldn't break the chain. You shouldn't break the chain of performing the wudu. Yeah, there shouldn't be a time difference between washing your face and washing your hand. This chain, you can't break it in wudu. But in ghusl, you can break it. How? In ghusl, you can, for example, wash your head and your face and your neck, and then after 2 hours, you can come and wash your right side. It's not a problem. In ghusl. You can wash your right side, and then after 3-4 hours, you can come and wash your left side. Also, it's not a problem. This ghusl, when we perform it, this ghusl, we can also use it for other aghsal. When we perform ghusl janaba, we can use it for other aghsal. For example, like ghusl al-jum'ah. If we want to perform ghusl al-jum'ah on Friday, which is very recommended, and we want to do ghusl janaba, we can join between the intention of doing ghusl janaba and doing ghusl al-jum'ah by only doing one ghusl. It's not a problem. Ahsan. Barakallahu feek. But you have to, now it sounds better, huh? Without the fan. But before you perform this ghusl, you need to take care of certain points. Number one, you need to remove all semen from your body. If there's some semen on your body, you need to remove it. You can't perform ghusl and there's still some najasa on your body, because semen is najas, as we all know. So you can't keep it on your body and perform ghusl. You need to remove it before. All right. Then it's recommended to do the kharatat that we spoke that the other sheikh spoke about last 2 weeks ago. To do the kharatat and to urinate. it's recommended to do it. And yani, we spoke about it last time. Then you need also to make sure you remove any barrier. If there's any barrier on your body, you need to remove it. All right? Let's say there's a band-aid on your hand. Can you perform the ghusl and the band-aid is still there? You have to remove it and then you perform the ghusl.
What if you had, say someone poured like Coke on his body or something, and then you know how it goes all sticky and gooey, and then you do ghusl like that. Is that like a barrier? Because it will wash off eventually.
If it's sticky and yani, if you remove it and there's a bit of sticky on your body and it's not a barrier, it's not a problem. You have to see and you have to look at it. Is water reaching your skin or not?
Well, you can't see all your parts of your body.
You can't see it?
Yeah, so you can't look at your back. You don't know all the way down your back.
If you don't know there's a barrier.
If he doesn't know that, if you don't know there's a barrier, it's not a problem. But if you're doubting whether it's a barrier or not, you have to make sure before you start the ghusl. If you're doubting whether it's a barrier or not.
You have a broken arm and then you have
Jabira, hala, we'll speak about it, inshallah. But if he's not sure, if he doesn't know there's a barrier, it's not a problem. But if he's doubting whether this on his hand, the sticky thing on his hand, is it a barrier or not, he should make sure before starting the ghusl. To make sure. How to make sure? You don't have to go and get a microscope to make sure that water is reaching. As long as you have, as long as you think that water is going to reach the skin, then there's no problem. All right? There's no problem. If you're able to remove it before you do the ghusl, even that sticky part, if you're able to remove it, then it's better, of course. All right? I don't know if it's. I don't know if I understood the question correctly. Okay. Yes.
What about hair?
Your hair.
What is it until the skin?
Usually, when you're doing with wudu, you use your finger to make sure that you wipe your skin. All right, and water is going to reach your skin in wudu. You make sure by using your finger on your head. With ghusl, as long as you're under the shower, the water is coming down, for sure it's going to reach your skin. So it's not a barrier, the hair. Unless with the woman, when they have a long hair, it's a different story. And they don't have to concentrate also on it.
How is it a plaster? Like if you're going.
Inshallah, we'll speak about it at the end. Also, after we finish. Everyone is asking about Jabira. So, inshallah, we'll speak about it at the end. Now, this ghusl is wajib. We have some mustahab aghsal. Is there any question about the ghusl janaba before we go to the...
Sheikh, you know how the other ghusl, how you just dive in a pool or something? What about the words? Are the words different or you just make niyyah and jump?
You don't do niyyah and jump. I said you have to make sure that your whole body is under the water, then you perform the niyyah. Not before you jump. The niyyah is what you're doing, ghusl janaba. Alright? Ghusl janaba. You don't have to pronounce anything in the niyyah, alright? It's inside your heart. But you can't jump and while you're jumping you say the niyyah. It's not correct. Your whole body should be under the water, from your toes to the top of your head, and then when your whole body is under the water, you perform the niyyah, and you come out. It's easier than doing ghusl tartib. But you have to go to a swimming pool with pure water and jump in it.
Does it matter if the water, see how you said if the water's mixed, like say beach water has salt in it, does that matter?
Yeah, mixed water, the difference between pure water and mixed water, they say that originally, they look at whether it's originally mixed or not. Alright?
Yeah.
If I get this water, originally it's not mixed. If I come and put sand in it, it will become mixed water. With the sea water, they say originally it's with salt. It's not mixed, it wasn't mixed together. That's why they don't consider it to be mixed water.
And then pool water, it has chlorine, it was mixed with it.
If it depends on how much chlorine is there in the water. But usually it's not a problem to have a small amount of chlorine, because in most of the water there's chlorine, even the ones that you use at home, there's chlorine. Yeah, but if there's a lot of chlorine in the color is changing, or the smell of the water is changing, or the taste of the water will change to a big extent, then it becomes not, you can't use this water. Because when the three conditions of water, the color, the taste, and the smell change, you can't use this water for ghusl or wudu.
Say you're going to jump in a pool, and like say it's your friend's pool, you don't want to make it najis. You have to first wash yourself before you jump in.
You have to remove the najasa.
Remove the najasa?
Yes, you have to remove the najasa and then jump. Yeah. Especially if it's a pool. So that's the wajib ghusl that you have to perform. There's some mustahab aghsal. Do you want to ask a question? Before, all right. Ahsant. We have other aghsal that are mustahab, recommended. One of them is what? Can you give me one ghusl that is mustahab? Jum'ah. Ghusl janaba mustahab? No, ghusl janaba wajib. غسل الجمعة أحسنت. غسل الجمعة is مستحب. Another غسل زيارة of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه. Going to زيارة غسل العيد أحسن. عيد الفطر and عيد الأضحى. Okay. يعني العيدين for the Muslims. That's mustahab. The ghusl is mustahab for them. Okay. What else? Entering, for example, to Masjid al-Haram. Al-Haram al-Makki and Masjid al-Haram. Also it's mustahab to perform ghusl. All right. Such aghsal, when you do such recommended aghsal, you don't have to perform wudu after it. And when it comes to praying, when you want to pray, you don't have to perform wudu according to some of the maraja, like Sayyid Sistani. You don't have to perform wudu. Some aghsal that we don't have a proof, it's mustahab. But it's good to do them. Like, for example, the ghusl for ziyarat Imam Hussein alayhi salam. There's a ghusl that you perform when you want to go and visit the shrine of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. This ghusl, because there's no proof that it is mustahab in itself, you can't perform it and then pray without doing wudu. You have to perform wudu. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
What you're saying is the wajib ghusl, you don't need to do wudu after, but the mustahab, you have to.
Even the mustahab, that the aghsal that there's a proof it's mustahab, there's a proof that it is mustahab, you don't have to perform wudu also. Like ghusl Jum'ah, it's mustahab, there's a proof it's mustahab. Ghusl for entering Masjid al-Haram and al-Haram al-Makki. No, I'll come to also. Such aghsal entering Masjid al-Haram, al-Haram al-Makki, there's a proof that it's mustahab. According to Sayyid Sistani, you don't have to perform wudu after it. But some aghsal that we usually perform, but there's no proof that it is mustahab. Such as ghusl ziyarat al-Imam al-Hussein. When you go, alayhi salam, when you want to go and visit Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there's a ghusl that you perform. This ghusl, according to the fuqaha, according to what Sayyid Sistani and other maraja, they say that there's no proof it is mustahab in itself. Then you can't use this ghusl to pray. You need to perform wudu after the ghusl to pray. Because there's no proof it is mustahab. Okay? But with the mustahab ghusl, that there's a proof on it, you don't have to perform wudu, like ghusl al-Jum'ah, like entering the masjid, or like even ghusl al-istikhara. There's a ghusl that you perform when you want to do istikhara in the Quran. There's a proof that this ghusl is mustahab. You can use this ghusl and to do salat without performing wudu. طيب. Now, when someone is not certain whether the liquid or the fluid that comes out from his body is semen or something else, if he's not sure about it, and this liquid that comes out with lust, he should consider it to be semen. All right, that's before performing the ghusl. During the day, if anything comes out from the body and it comes out with lust, then you have to consider it to be what? Semen. When you consider it to be semen, then what should you do? You have to perform ghusl. Okay? Now, if you do the kharatat al-tis'a before the ghusl, alright? That we spoke about last time, istibra'. And you went to toilet, you urinate, you did the kharatat al-tis'a, and then you perform ghusl al-janaba. After the ghusl, you found something. You found something, a liquid. What do you consider it? Do you consider it najas or tahir? Tahir. Why?
Because you already performed
The kharatat, ahsan. And that's why the kharatat, the istibra', it's not wajib. The istibra', the kharatat tisa, they are not wajib. They are mustahab. But we do them why? Because then if we have any doubt, if we see any liquid after the ghusl, we consider it to be tahir. We don't have to perform ghusl al-janaba. If we didn't do the kharatat, and if you didn't do the kharatat and you saw a liquid after the ghusl, what should you do? If you didn't do the kharatat, you performed the ghusl, after the ghusl you saw a liquid. You have to assume that it is semen, it is najasa. And then what should you do? You have to do ghusl all over again. That's why it's important to do istibra'.
For the ghusl, you said that you're allowed to do your neck and then wait for 2 hours to do your right hand side. See, in between that time, are you allowed to pray?
No. Yeah, when he's asking a very good question. He's asking a very good question. He's saying that, as we said, that in ghusl tartibi, you can wash your head and your neck, and then after 2 hours you can come and wash your right side. After 3 hours you can wash your left side. He's asking, can you pray? Can you pray after doing ghusl for your head only? Can you pray? Of course not, you can't pray. You have to perform ghusl altogether. You have to finish from ghusl altogether, ghusl janaba, in order to pray. But if the time of salat is not near, and for certain circumstances you can't do ghusl together at the same time, you can perform your head and your neck first, then you do the rest of your body later on, but you can't pray until you finish from it all. Yes? Nothing, khalas? You don't want to ask anymore? Okay, you changed your mind. All right. Now there's some forbidden acts for those in janaba. For someone when he's on janaba, there's some forbidden acts. One of them is to touch with any part of your body the scripts or the verses of the Quran. If you have a Quran next to you and you're on the state of janaba, you can't touch any verse of the Quran. You can't put your hand or your finger on any verse of the Quran. That's number one. Number two, it is haram for someone who is on janaba to enter Masjid al-Haram and Masjid al-Nabawi. If you are going, for example, to Medina and to Mecca and so on, and someone is on the state of janaba, he can't enter the mosque of Rasulullah, Masjid al-Haram and Masjid al-Nabawi. You can't enter them. Also, it's haram if someone is on a state of janaba to stay inside any masjid. To stay inside a masjid, it's haram. You have to leave. You have to go out from any masjid. And if you're outside, if you're outside the masjid and you are on a state of janaba and you want to put something, you want to put a book inside a masjid, or you want to take something from the masjid, also it's haram. If you are on a state of janaba, to go inside any mosque with the intention of taking something or putting something down, it's also haram when you are on a state of janaba. Then it is haram to recite the 5 verses of the Quran. The sajda is wajib when we recite them. We have 5 verses in the Quran that you have to perform sujood when you recite them. I'm not going to recite them, so we don't have to perform sujood. But I'll mention the numbers of them: 32:15, 41:38, 53:62, and 96:16. That's the 5 verses of the Quran. That sajda becomes wajib when you hear them. Those verses, the 5 verses, you can't recite them when you are in a state of janab. Is that clear, inshallah? Clear? Inshallah. So that's the forbidden act that we can't perform during janaba. Then we have some makruh thing. Makruh, you know what makruh is? What is makruh? Yalla.
Makruh is, it's not haram, but it's like bad. Like, it's not haram to do, but it's just like,
It's better off not to do it.
yeah.
So if you do it, it's not haram. It's not a sin if you do it. Hajj.
I want to ask you, if someone is on janaba, are they allowed to enter a normal mosque or not?
I said if you want to enter a mosque and you're on a state of janaba to take something or to put something, it's haram. You can't enter to the mosque. All right? You can't enter to the mosque. If this place, let's say here, is part of the mosque, is that part of the mosque?
No,
It's not? Okay, good. Especially for women and so on, it's different. It's good that it's not part. So makruh is what? It's something that when you perform it,
You won't get a sin.
it's not a sin if you perform it, but it's better not to do it. Okay? It's better not to do it. When you are on a state or in the state of janaba, there's some things that are makruh on you to do. One of them is to eat or to drink. It's makruh for you to eat and drink while you are on janaba. But if someone he doesn't have time to perform ghusl janaba and he wants to eat, he can wash his face, his mouth, and his hands, and then eat. He can do this, so eating will not become makruh. If he's not able to perform ghusl janaba immediately and he wants to eat, he can do this. He can wash his face, his mouth, and his hands, and then he can eat without doing makruh. Yes.
Is it haram to sleep while you're on janaba?
It's makruh. I'll mention it. We mentioned the haram, the forbidden things, we mentioned them before. Now to the makruh. So that's the first thing. To eat or to drink, it's makruh. Alright. Then it's makruh to recite more than 7 verses from the Quran or of the Quran. It's makruh to recite more than 7 verses when you are junub, on janaba. Then it's makruh to sleep. That's your question. It's makruh to sleep when you are on janaba. Okay. You are on janaba and you can't perform ghusl immediately for certain reasons. and you want to sleep, we said it's makruh. To remove this karaha, you can perform wudu or tayammum, and then you can sleep. And the karaha in sleeping while on junub, you can remove it by performing wudu or tayammum. Yes. He doesn't know how to do wudu. He do it in any order. No, yani he can't pray. He can't pray if the wudu is not correct. He should go ask his parents how to perform wudu. Alright, or when he comes to the mosque, he can ask the sheikh how to perform wudu in the correct way. Alright? We explained like 2 weeks ago the wudu, right? He wasn't here. Alright, Mustafa, what was your name? Mustafa, Ahsan, yalla, show him how to perform wudu. You understand that? Show him how to, tell them all how to perform wudu.
First you open the tap,
Ahsan.
and you do the niyah,
Speak to them, tell them, into you're teaching them.
and you wash your hands, and then you wash all your face.
How many times?
No, sure, you're cheating with him here.
2 times.
I'm trying to see which is the wajib.
No, well, the wajib, not the mustahab. Do the wajib. Tell us how do you perform wudu? Tell us how you perform wudu at home.
And then I get my right hand.
So after you wash your face,
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
or twice as mustahab, then
And then I get my right hand, I fill water up in my right hand, and I put it in my left hand, and then
ahsan.
I wash.
هذا as istihbab also. He's doing the mustahab. And then you wash your right hand from your elbow to your fingertips, ahsan.
And then I get water with my
From this side and this side, of course, from top. Alright.
And then I get water from my right hand, fill it up, and do the same thing.
Ahsan. Then
And
you
then
do the left hand.
yeah, and then you close the tap with 3 fingers. You have to wash your forehead,
Wipe your head there.
wipe your head, and then do your legs, right and left.
Right and the left. Ahsan. Ahsan. That's very good, Mustafa. Ahsan.
Sheikh, when you perform wudu, I heard you wash your right hands 2 times and your left 1 time. Is that mustahab or?
هلا شو according to I don't want to go into details but according to Sayyid Sistani, you follow Sayyid Sistani, right? According to Sayyid Sistani, it's mustahab to wash your face twice, your right hand twice, and your left hand twice, according to him. Okay, that's not according to all the maraja, but according to Sayyid Sistani, it's mustahab to wash your face 2 times, your right hand 2 times, and your left hand also 2 times. Other maraja, they say no, it's only mustahab to wash your right hand 2 times. Your left hand, no. For him, there's different. He says that it's mustahab to do even your left hand twice. Anyway, so do you know how to do now wudu? You sure? Let's come here to come tell us how to do. Just to make sure. Okay. So how do you start? After you have the niyyah, the intention that you want to do the wudu, you want to do the wudu. What do you do the first thing?
First, you with your right hand, you wash all your face.
You put water on your right hand and you wash your face from top to bottom. Yes.
And then you blow water, then you put it on your left hand, and then you put it on your.
You have to. You start from top. You can't wash like this. You have to start from
And then you go down.
all the way down to your fingers, right?
Yeah.
And then you do that.
And
Yes.
then you skip the right, and then put it to your left.
To the left hand. Ahsan. This way. Yes.
And then you do the right again.
No, not again. Listen, Allah. You wash your face. You wash your face once, all right? Then you wash your right hand. Right hand all the way to your fingers. Then your left hand with water. You can't do this. You have to go from top to bottom all the way. And then with your 3 fingers, you wipe your head, and then with your right hand, your right leg, and the left on your left leg, you wipe it. أحسن. صلوا على محمد وعلى how long do we have to? We still have time. إن
Can we move on to the broken parts? Like,
خلاص يعني you want to move on. That's why I'm asking him how long do we have to go, because we have to speak about tayammum and then about غسل الجبير.
So before that, we say we're in Shahr Ramadan.
Yes.
And we're in Halat
Janab.
Does that Halat Janaba make the soul of you valid? Does it make you valid?
Yes. You have to make sure that if someone is junub on a state of janaba, he should perform ghusl janaba before the beginning of fasting.
What if, say, it was like he woke up for Salat al-Subh, then he woke up after, and he has
Yani, when you start the thing is that you have to concentrate on when you start your fasting, yani when you wake up for suhoor, when you do this intention for fasting the day, you shouldn't be on state of janaba, okay? But if during the day someone becomes on a state of janaba, it's not a problem.
Yeah. But that's if they sleep.
Yes, of course, if he's sleeping, if he's waking up and he intentionally, then of course that his siyam is not accepted.
And then is there like anything he has to do when
Yes.
he breaks his fast?
Yes.
What does he have to do?
Allah. If someone intentionally he broke his fast intentionally, then there's a kafara that he must pay, and he must, yani the kafara is either fasting 30 days, 60 days.
no, isn't it 2 months?
You have to fast 60 days, yani 2 months, or you have to feed poor people, and so on. So there's a certain kafara that you have to pay, and you perform the sin, of course, for this. If intentionally someone did it, but if it's not intentionally, then there's no kafara, and it's not a problem if it's during the day. If it's not intentionally, if he's sleeping during the day, if he's sleeping, for example, during the day, it doesn't break the fast. But he should perform also ghusl al-janaba. But what you should concentrate on, that when you start your fasting, the suhoor time, when you wake up for suhoor, and you want to start fasting this day, you shouldn't be on the state of janaba. Of course, Allah needs separate discussion for Shahr Ramadan. Anyway, so that's for ghusl. Now we'll speak quickly about tayammum and then wudu al-jabira. We use tayammum instead of ghusl and wudu. Sometimes we use tayammum instead of ghusl and wudu. Let's say that you don't have water. You don't have water and you want to perform ghusl or wudu. Then what should you do? Yes. With the sand, so tayammum. Ahsan. So you perform tayammum if you don't have water.
If you don't have sand or dirt?
No, of course, sure, you're not going to have sand or dirt. Anything from the earth, anything from the... on the wall, yes. If there's a bit of dust on it, it's not a problem. Not if it's painted on the wall. All right? So first thing, if you don't have any water, you perform tayammum. Then, if you have water, but this water is stolen, and you went and you took the water from someone. You stole the water. Can you use it for wudu? Can you use it for ghusl? No. You have the water, but you can't use it. Then what do? You have to perform tayammum. If you are going in a journey or on a journey and you have small amount of water, just small amount of water, if you use it for wudu and ghusl, you're not going to have enough water to drink. Okay? Can you use it? You might. If you use it, you don't have water to drink, and you're going to become thirsty, and you're not going to be able to continue your walk. Can you use this water? No. You have to keep it so you can drink it and stay alive, and then you perform tayammum for ghusl and for wudu. If there's no time for salat, if you were sleeping, you woke up late, and there's only, let's say, 3 minutes for salat. There's no time to perform ghusl. There's no time to perform wudu. What do you do? Because if you perform wudu and ghusl, the time of salat will be finished. Yani you have to do qada. Then you do tayammum, and then you pray the wajib on time. All right. If you have a small amount of water and there's najasa inside the masjid, okay, we have a small amount of water and there's najasa inside the masjid, and you want to perform wudu or ghusl, do you use this water to do ghusl and wudu, or to clean the masjid? To clean the masjid, of course, because the masjid is the house of Allah, and it's more important to clean the house of Allah than cleaning our bodies. Yani. So we use it to clean the masjid, and we perform tayammum. If we have a fear of becoming sick, let's say we are living in a country that is very cold, and you're waking up in the morning, if you use water, you're going to become sick, very sick. Then you don't use the water, you use tayammum. Okay, that's the different situation when you have to use tayammum. How should we perform tayammum? How should we perform tayammum? Anyone knows how? Yeah.
I think it's the same as wudu.
No, not the same as wudu. Yeah.
Start from the top of your forehead.
First, before you start, what do you do?
Oh, you get some dust or
Yeah, something from the earth,
you hit it like that.
metal, sand, or even a bit of dust on the wall.
Yeah, and then you hit it.
You hit it twice.
Yeah,
or-
twice.
yeah.
And then you start from your forehead.
I
to
just
your
dab it.
nose.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
How do you do it best from your forehead to the
like that.
No.
Oh, is it? Like that.
Anyone knows how? Exactly.
Sorry? Oh, for the face?
For the tayammum. After you hit your hands on dust.
Twice,
Yes.
And then you, with the edges of your palm,
Yes.
you just go down top, all the way to the bottom.
You don't have to go all the way to the bottom. Hala, of course, to hit, you can hit once only. It's not a problem. To hit one time, it's not a problem. But it's better to do it twice with the dust. Then you start from the line of your hair from here to the top of your nose. Let's see. To the top of the nose. Last time I was doing it, I was looking at the recording and my hands went all the way down. And it's wrong. So you have to do it from the line of the hair to the top of the nose. Let's see. That's the way to do. And then after you finish, after you do this, you have to get your left hand, the palm of your left hand, and what? You wipe on your right hand, and then you get your right hand and you wipe on your left hand. That's it. Very easy. How do you do it, Mustafa? Yeah.
You have to find something on
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and that
You hit on it once or twice. Yeah.
you start from the palms of your hand,
Yeah.
and you wipe from
The line of your hair all the way down.
to the top of your nose.
Nose, ahsan. And then
You get with your right hand, and
you do the left.
your left,
And then
left hand.
you do the right. Ahsan. Ahsan. Of course, also we need to have an intention before we start the tayammum. Same as there's an intention and niyyah for ghusl and niyyah for wudu, also there's a niyyah for performing the tayammum. The sand also that you use, or the dust that you use, it must be tahir. It can't be najas. Alright? So if you're sure that this sand is najas, you can't use it for tayammum. Yarhamkumullah. If you're doubting, if you see a sand, if you see something and you're doubting, is it tahir or najas? What should you do? You want to perform tayammum? Ahsan. You have to consider it to be tahir, because you don't know that it is najis.
To dry it means it's fine.
No, I'm saying if you found something and you're doubting, you don't know, is it tahir or not, you have to consider it to be tahir. You can't say it's najis, because you don't have a proof that it's najis. And the asl, originally, it's tahir. So you consider it to be tahir.
Yeah. Let's say you've done wudu with water.
Yes.
And you only had a certain amount of water to just do like one wudu. And you were walking and you stepped on like animal, like like cow, chicken, like
Yes.
you stepped on their feces.
Yes.
Yeah. What is your wudu like over, or because the animals are like what's it called?
It's not najis to step on. It's not najis. If you're wearing your shoes, you can take off your shoes and pray.
You didn't have your shoes on.
You just remove it. It's not a problem. It's not najis. It's not najis. You just remove it. It's not like the human ones. That's najis. But for the chicken or what, it's not najis. Also with tayammum, you have to start with wiping your forehead and then your right hand and then your left hand. You can't start with your, let's say, right hand, then your forehead, then your left hand. Alright? So you have to start with your forehead and then your right and left hand. If you perform tayammum for, let's say, for Salatul Dhuhr, you perform tayammum, and then you want to pray Salatul Asr, do you have to perform another tayammum, or can you use the same tayammum? The same tayammum. You pray Salatul Dhuhr and Al-Asr with this tayammum, and the time for Salatul Maghrib it comes, and you're still on the tayammum. You didn't get anything that breaks the wudu. Can you use the same tayammum?
I actually have a question about that.
Yes.
What the niyyah for wudu? For example, if the salat time still hasn't come and you want to make wudu before salat time, is there a different niyyah? Because when salat time is coming.
Last time we said it's better when you perform wudu, not to have a niyyah that this wudu is for the salat. You limit your intention for wudu just for this salat. Then yes, it's a problem to use this wudu for another salat. Ahsan, you say qurbatan lillah, for tahara. Then you can use this wudu for salat al-dhuhr, asr, maghrib, isha, and so on. You don't limit the niyyah. Yes.
When you fart in your prayer, is that alright?
No, it's not alright. You have to stop and perform. You have to stop and you perform wudu again, and then you do the salat all over again. Alright? طيب, Jabira, quickly, I'll mention it. Inshallah. Some brothers are tired now, huh? After reading Surah Al-Baqarah for us, mashallah. How to perform wudu al-jabira? What is wudu al-jabira? Before how to perform. What is wudu al-jabira? Yes. You were asking about it. Now you know. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, when you have a broken hand,
Ahsan.
or like a bandage that you really can't move.
If you have a broken hand
Yeah,
and there's nothing covering it, then you can perform normal wudu.
yeah.
Then there should be
Plastic.
ahsan on your hand. So your hand is broken, or there's a wound and it's covered. And you want to perform the wudu. You want to perform the wudu. Let's say your hand is covered from here, from this place to this place. It's covered, all right? And you want to perform wudu. How do you perform it? So you start normal. You start with the wudu, normal, the same intention, having the same intention. You wash your face. When it comes to washing the hand that is covered, you wash your hand, and when it comes to the covered place, you wipe on top of it. You wipe on top of it. If you're able to remove this cover, then you remove it and you wash your hand. If you're not able to remove it, you just wipe on top of it. If you can't, if water, because yes, as we mentioned before, that if you have a fear that you might become sick of using water, then yes, you go to tayammum because you have a fear. But if you can just wipe on top of it, then there's no problem in that. Yes.
Isn't that a barrier?
Yes, it's a barrier, but you can't remove this barrier. That's why it's called wudu jabira, because you can't remove this barrier, and you can't stay without performing salat. You need to do what? To do wudu. They said you come and you wash your hand, but the only space that is covered, you come and you wipe on top of it. If you're able to remove it, you remove it. If you're not able to remove it, then you wipe on top of it, just to perform the salah. Yes.
Sheikh, my auntie in Iraq, she had a broken hand, right? And she went to Sheikh Sistani and she asked him a question.
Yes.
He said you could use an actual plastic bag, but you need to cut a hole in it. So,
Yes.
from your hand till here, and you just do over the plastic bag. She asked Sheikh Sistani.
That's when you perform ghusl. When you do wudu, you have to wipe on top of the jabir. Okay? But when it comes to performing ghusl al-janaba, you want to perform ghusl al-janaba, and your hand is covered, what should you do? If you're able to remove this cover, you remove it. If you're not able, then you cover this space with plastic bag, whatever, and then you go under the water and you perform ghusl normally. Okay? Because there's a fear that usually water shouldn't reach this place when it's covered. That's why they put a plastic bag.
If you like really sick, can someone perform wudu for you?
If you're not able to perform wudu on your own,
And if that person is on janaba, is your wudu accepted or?
no, it's not. Yeah. With wudu, you have to perform your own wudu. If you're not able to perform this wudu, then you can get someone else to help you, but under certain conditions also. If most of the parts are covered by jabira, if most of the parts that you perform wudu on are covered with jabira, what should you do? If most of them are covered, yani your right hand, your left hand, your legs, and so on. Ahsan, you have to do what? Wudu and tayammum. So you try as much as you can to do the wudu. If most of the body is covered, or most of the parts of the wudu are covered, you try to do as much as you can with the wudu, and then you add the tayammum with it. Yes.
If two of the hands are broken, how can you do wudu?
How can you move them? Is that what you're asking?
Like, how can you do wudu? Because like, you can't move the hand.
If you can't move your hands, then you can ask someone to come and help you with the wudu, and then you do the tayammum. They can help you to do it. If you can't move at all, if all your hands are broken, and your shoulders, and you're sleeping, and you can't even move, then You don't have to do the wudu. All the tayammum, you can ask someone to do them on behalf of you. And they can come and use the water, use the dust, and do the tayammum for you because you can't move. You can't move.
Sheikh, you know how someone can do the wudu for you? What about ghusl janaba? Can someone do ghusl janaba for you?
Yeah, they can go and do ghusl janaba, and you can sleep. No, of course not. Sure. They're gonna take you. They're gonna go with you to the shower and do and ghusl janaba for you.
Just do also
See how you said if you can't move, someone can do wudu for you or something.
Yes.
Yeah, or tayammum for you. How are you gonna pray if you can't move?
Ahsan. That's another good question.
You can sit
That-
down and pray.
Ahsan. With praying, you have to pray even if you are sick, even if you are sleeping, even if you can't move, you have to pray. How? Let's say you're sleeping. All right, you can't, or you're sitting down. Let's say you're sitting down like this, and you can't stand. You can't stand, and you can't move. You can't go down. You get the sajda. You put it next to you. You do takbir, Allahu Akbar, and you pray while sitting down. Then with ruku, you just move your head a bit, and with sujood also you move your head a bit, just to show that you're doing ruku and sujood. If you can't even move your head, if you're sleeping and you can't even move your head, you can use your eyebrows, or you can use your eyes to show that you're doing ruku and sujood and so on. But you can't leave the salat. If they can put you, if someone can come and move you to the qibla, then yes. If you can't find the qibla, if no one can come and put you towards the qibla, that you can pray without being towards the qibla. Because the important thing is what? Not to leave salat in any condition, in any circumstance. So you can't leave the salat al-wajib. Even let's say you are in a plane or in the car or whatever, and there's no time left for salat, and you have to pray the wajib. You pray the wajib while sitting down. You can't perform wudu. You pray the wajib without performing wudu, and so on. In that situations, not in general, of course.
Sisi, Romania, was just in the hospital, I think, in his last days, and they put in the turbo on his head.
Yes. Ahsan.
Performing salah.
Ahsan. And even if you're sleeping and you can't even move, someone can come and put the turba for you. But you shouldn't leave the salat. That's the most important thing. Any questions, inshallah, before we finish? About ghusl, tayammum, wudu al-jabira, and wudu. Yes.
Sheikh, this doesn't involve any of what you said, but it's about fasting.
Hmm?
It's about fasting.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, you're sick,
Yes.
but you decided to fast. Will your fasting be accepted, or because you're sick and you keep on coughing?
If you're sick, it depends. If you're sick, you have a flu and you're sick. What kind of sickness? If you're sick to the extent that you're going to become, your situation is going to become worse when you're fasting, it's haram for you to fast. And this fast will not be accepted. If you come and force yourself to fast and you're hurting your body, then it's haram.
What about if you're sick but you're not hurting your body?
Then there's no problem. If you have, for example, the flu, there's no problem to fast. But if through fasting your sickness will become worse, you're going to hurt yourself, then it's haram for you to fast. Yes.
For the ghusl, see how you said it's wajib. From what age is it?
Ahsan. When you become baligh, then ghusl becomes wajib. When do you become baligh? Yalla.
15 years old?
No, yeah, there's, we explained last time, and we explained in detail when and how do you know. Dreaming? No, you can dream before you become baligh. That's certain dreams, yeah. هلا Usually it's 14 years old, or 15. But sometimes it can happen before this age, when you see wet dreams, when you see semen, when semen comes out from your body, when certain things change in your body, you can. No, we spoke about it, inshallah. Hala, we'll explain to you later, inshallah, after we stop the recording. Ya Allah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.